What would you rate your state? If you think it's great and would give it a 10 out of 10, then let's see if it made the top 10, which we ranked based on each state's economy, safety, cost of living, education, health, and quality of life. Now, of course, there are both incredible and terrible places to live in pretty much every state, so if your state didn't make the cut this year, that doesn't mean it sucks. Well, unless it made our top 10 worst states for 2021. But hey, at least it's never too late to relocate to one of the top 10 best states to live in for 2021. And let's hit 10,000 likes for a video where I rank all 50 states. Number 10. Actually, let's hit the brakes for a quick honorable mention. Florida.
Wait, what? How? Isn't Florida just a place for retirees and annoying tourists?
And sure, Florida is the second most visited state, and there are a lot of retirees, but the warm weather, booming job market, and affordable cost of living with a median home value of just $282,000, in addition to there being no state income tax, have really helped turn the state from an attraction to an attractive place to live. The schools are among the best in the nation, there's incredible history, the infrastructure is top-notch, and there are so many amazing and diverse cities and towns offering something for every type of lifestyle. Not to mention, the air and water quality is the 5th best of any state, making it so easy to enjoy the beautiful beaches, forests, springs, and parks. But while the economy certainly is growing, with plenty of young professionals and entrepreneurs moving to the cities, the median household income is still just $59,200, which is the main reason Florida didn't make the actual list. Wages did increase by nearly 5% last year, however, so hopefully they continue to improve. Actual number 10. Hawaii. While Florida is filled with beautiful beaches and vacation vibes, Hawaii has debatably even prettier beaches and a vacation lifestyle. Of course, it also comes with a much higher price tag, however, considering Hawaii is the most expensive state with the median home value at a whopping $708,000, in addition to most everyday goods being costlier as well. But ask any local, and they tell you that this little slice of paradise is well worth the cost, especially since materialism and wealth aren't a priority here, and the most valuable things, time, ohana, and the spirit of aloha, can't be bought. This more relaxed lifestyle and the gorgeous surrounding nature have resulted in Hawaii being the least stressed state with the happiest, healthiest, and longest living residents. Although having the best healthcare access and quality in the nation, as well as the best air and water quality, certainly doesn't hurt. And despite, or perhaps because time, health, and happiness are valued over money, Hawaii actually has the second best economic opportunity of any state and the 4th highest median household income at $83,100. So most people are doing just fine, even with the high cost of living, as the poverty rate of only 9.3% is the 6th lowest in the country. Number 9. Virginia. Home to the first ever permanent British colony, Virginia is one of the most historic states in this nation. From Jamestown to Colonial Williamsburg to being the place where the Revolutionary War ended and many Civil War battles occurred, there are so many historic sites, monuments, and towns, all nestled in the serene backdrop of breathtaking mountains, forests, and beaches. But all that violence and war is long in Virginia's past, as it's currently the 5th safest state with a violent crime rate 45% below the national average, making it a great place to raise a family, especially when you tack on the fact that Old Dominion has some of the best suburbs in the country and offers incredible public schools. In fact, Virginia is actually the 6th most educated state, with 48% of the workforce possessing an associate degree or higher, which makes sense considering all the great job opportunities, particularly in the DC area. The median household income is an incredible $76,500, and Virginia was ranked as the #1 state for doing business, in addition to being the 2nd most small business friendly state. Add in an affordable median home cost of just $319,000, and Virginia is one of the best places to live and save money, with a poverty rate of just 9.9%. Number 8. Nebraska.
Nebraska? Isn't that like the most boring state? What am I gonna do there? Husk corn?
Well, maybe. I mean, it is the Cornhusker state after all. But corniness aside, while Nebraska certainly isn't winning any most beautiful or exciting state awards anytime soon, the quiet lifestyle keeps the crime rates low and the median home cost even lower at just $200,000. And with plenty of great job opportunities, the lowest unemployment rate of any state at just 2.9%, and a median household income of $63,400 that continues to grow by 4.3% each year, it makes sense that Nebraskans are incredibly content and rarely experience any stress. But Nebraska isn't just a great state to make and save money. It's also one of the best places to raise a family. The public schooling system is the 9th best of any state, the overall infrastructure is 6th best, and the air and water quality are the 6th highest. Not to mention, Nebraskans are some of the most kind and genuine people you will ever meet. And although 92% of the state is farmland, it isn't all boring here, especially in the hip college town of Lincoln or the bustling city of Omaha, where you'll find plenty of fun and free museums, green spaces and parks, amazing food, and the best zoo in the entire country. Number 7, Colorado. While Colorado's eastern plains are just as plain as Nebraska, the western half more than makes up for it with 58 14,000-foot peaks and so much other gorgeous and diverse nature, from sand dunes to canyons to Garden of the Gods. And most Coloradans take full advantage of this outdoor lover's paradise and hike, bike, kayak, ski, or rock climb regularly. Combine this with the 5th best healthcare quality of any state, and it's no surprise that Colorado's the 2nd healthiest state with the lowest obesity rate, even with all the good beer and amazing local restaurants of the Denver area. But the main reason the Centennial State has the 5th highest quality of life is the booming economy, which was actually the 4th fastest growing and 2nd best economy overall in 2020. There are so many great jobs here, leading to a median household income of $77,200. And since Colorado's also the 4th best state for business, as well as the 2nd most educated state with the 5th best public schools and 51.1% of residents having at least an associate degree, more and more companies are moving here, which are creating even more good job opportunities. So yes, while Colorado isn't cheap with a median home value of $467,000, wages are more than keeping up with the cost, as they're increasing by 5.3% annually, and the poverty rate is just 9.3%. Number 6, Idaho. Most people outside of Idaho hardly even knew it existed just a few years ago, but this hidden gem state isn't so hidden anymore, as it's actually been the fastest growing state for each of the past 5 years. And although most people now know that it's an amazing place to live, especially since the capital, Boise, is consistently rated as the best city in this country, the rest of the state is often overlooked despite being home to so much beautiful untouched nature and many charming small cities and towns. And that's a shame, because Idaho is basically the American dream. Small business thrives here, it's the 3rd safest state, and the people are so darn friendly. Of course, though, since it's one of the cheapest states out west, tons of Californians have moved here in recent years, making it not so cheap anymore, with the median home cost increasing by 25% in 2020 to $378,000. But while historically wages haven't kept up with the cost of living, with a median household income of just $61,000, Idaho's economy is now the fastest growing and 3rd best overall, with wages increasing by a whopping 7.8% just this past year. Number 5, Washington. Idaho's dry, rocky landscapes and plentiful potatoes are contrasted by the lush greenery and lack of a potato legacy in Washington. Although, fun fact, Washington actually produces the world's highest potato yield per acre according to potatoes.com. Anyways, the Evergreen State is one of the most beautiful and biologically diverse states, with places like the Hoh Rainforest and Cascades National Park perfectly juxtaposing the moody coastline and otherworldly scablands and desert canyons. But Washington didn't just make this list due to its sheer beauty. The state is also an economic juggernaut, especially in the Seattle area, where the median household income is over $100,000. The Evergreen State has the 2nd fastest growing growing and fourth best economy overall, and the median household income of $79,000 statewide is the sixth highest in the country. So while sure, the median home cost of $497,000 isn't necessarily cheap, it also isn't too bad considering that Washington's also home to the highest minimum wage in the nation, and there's no state income tax, which helps explain why the poverty rate is so low at just 9.8%. Add in the third best infrastructure, eighth best healthcare, and fourth best education system of any state, and it's no surprise that Washington has the fourth highest quality of life in the US. Number 4, Minnesota. Whether it's ice fishing in the quiet cold or boating on one of the 11,842 lakes to cool off from the humid heat, Minnesotans somehow romanticize both the frigid winters and mosquito-filled summers and always remain optimistic as they're the third happiest residents of any state. And if you've ever spent time in the land of 10,000 lakes, you'd see why. Minnesota is one of the safest states in the nation, which makes sense as most of the people here are the type to say, "Oh, sorry," even if you're the one that bumped into them. The economy is also thriving with tons of Fortune 500 companies in the Twin Cities, making it the third best state for economic opportunity and a great place to start your career. Entry-level jobs pay well above what they would in other states, and the median household income of $74,600 grows by 4.2% annually. Add in a median home cost of just $291,000 and the third lowest poverty rate at only 9%, and Minnesota is one of the best states to live and save money and raise a family, especially since there's so much to do with great farm-to-table restaurants, tons of art, culture, and festivals in the Twin Cities, and jaw-dropping scenery every which way. Number 3, Utah. While Minnesota has the third lowest poverty rate, Utah has the second lowest at just 8.9%, in large part due to it also having the best economy in the country. So many tech companies and startups are moving to Lehi and the greater Salt Lake and Provo-Orem areas, which has helped Utah become the fourth best state for economic opportunity with a median household income of $76,000 and the lowest unemployment rate at just 2.9%. And since Utah's the third best state for business, as well as the second best state to start a business, the economy, which is the second fastest growing, shows no signs of slowing down. And neither does the population growth of 18.4% over the past decade, making it the fastest growing state since 2010. But it's not just young professionals who are moving here. Utah is also one of the best states for families, as it's the 8th safest state, and it has the 3rd best healthcare quality, 5th best infrastructure, and 10th best education system in the US. Sure, it isn't exactly cheap anymore, with a median home value around $430,000, but considering the breathtaking nature, hip culture in Salt Lake City, and the fact that Utah has the second highest quality of life, I'd say it's more than a bargain. Number 2. Massachusetts. Good old Massachusetts, aka my home state. But while I always knew it was a great place to live, it honestly even surprised me that the Bay State is among the top 5 in literally every category that matters. It's the 4th safest state, has the 3rd highest quality of life, 2nd best healthcare system, lowest uninsured rate of just 3%, 4th best air and water quality, 5th highest life expectancy, 5th best economy, the best business environment, and consistently ranks as having the number 1 education system for both K-12 and higher education. So it should come as no surprise that Massachusetts also has the most educated workforce, with 52.4% having at least an associate degree, especially since there's an abundance of incredible job opportunities, resulting in the 2nd highest median household income of $86,000, which continues to increase by a staggering 5.6% each year. So while the median home cost of $497,000 and its nickname Taxachusetts might make you think it's super expensive, the poverty rate is actually only 9.4%, and most residents would agree that the wide array of cultural and historic attractions, gorgeous nature, and big city amenities of Boston are well worth the cost. Now, before we get to number 1, make sure you leave a like and subscribe, because if this video hits 10,000 likes, I'll make a list ranking all 50 states, and comment what you think the best state is. But without further ado, number 1. New Hampshire. Surprise, surprise, the Granite State is back on top. Because, well, it rocks. Sure, New Hampshire's small with no big cities and a population of only 1.38 million, but it more than makes up for it with enchanting untouched nature and quaint historic towns like Portsmouth, Concord, Nashua, and Hanover. It's also by far the safest state, has the 4th best public schools, and is the best state for economic opportunity. The median household income is a whopping 78 grand. The unemployment rate is just 3%. And since the Granite State also has no state income or sales tax, the poverty rate is the lowest in the nation at only 7.3%. New Hampshire has just about every good statistic a state can have, including the highest quality of life, and that's why it's the best state to live in for 2021.